Thank you very much. Recruits, please sit. Everybody else, please take a seat. Hi, how are y'all doing? Very, very big day, very proud day. One of the coolest things that we get to do here. And I apologize for the heat. There's just too many of you here. This is a big, big room full of people. 14 in this recruit class, and I would like to start out with thanking our Chief Joe Zaludic, for setting the stage to allow us to give the great training that we do to these individuals, and to all of his deputy chiefs, and most especially to the people within the training section that are charged with getting these people ready to go. Training Captain Wayne Morris has been lead on this, and he's taken this class through to completion. Very, very proud of him. Did a great job. EMS Training Coordinator Nurse Anderson, she brought a lot of brand new paramedics up to a level that they're going to be able to go out there and really, really help the public. So thank you very much. Training Captain Mike Barnaby, always good to have you here. And Greg Degelman, our engineer, driving instructor, fire instructor. Without him, I don't know what would get done. And to kind of close it all out, we have in the back Barb Courtney, who is our admin assistant. She is the real glue to it all. Sean Waite, he's not here tonight. He is at home with his little ones. He had to take care of them. He is one of our EMS training instructors also, and I'd like to thank him. So we have a little bit of a ceremony here. It's really, really nice to see you all here. Thank you for taking time out of your Friday to come here. With that, I'd like to introduce our Chief, Joe Zaludic.
Good afternoon. Full house indeed. I just want to take a moment to recognize some elected and appointed officials. I saw Councilor Ye came in earlier. Hi, Councilor Ye. Councilor Clark, hello. I want to shout out to Fire Chief retired Randy Groves, who came to join us today. Thank you, Chief. If you're sitting next to an elected or appointed official that I didn't see, please raise your hand so I could acknowledge them. It's always poor form not to acknowledge our officials, so thank you very much. This is one of the most exciting days of the year for me, and we'll talk about this a little bit, and I just want to acknowledge the hard work that went into this. And so I want to start it out with a little piece about our department and how things are going, but we'll get the show on the road and get this fine class graduated and get us on our way. Last year, Eugene Springfield Fire ran over 37,000 calls for service and transported over 20,000 people to local hospitals. We cover a wide range of events, including hazmat, water rescue, confined space, the airport, and we just are a very broad spectrum department that I'm just really proud of the services we provide to the community. I tell my peers across the state, and it's confirmed in data, this is the hardest working department in the state when you look at the amount of work they do badge for badge, and we need every one of these individuals out in the field doing a great job for us. I have the best job in the world because I get to go out and connect with the public, and every time I connect with the public, somebody tells me about a wonderful thing that one of our crews did for them. Just last week, I went to a neighborhood group, and after the meeting, the gentleman grabbed me by the arm and was kind of tearful and just wanted to thank me for sending the crews up to his house to use a power saw to cut through all the trees that had fallen in the ice storm to get his wife, who had broke her ankle, to the hospital. I think he thought I had like a dispatch center in my room or something. I was sending him out there. But the fact is that this doesn't happen once in a while. It happens every single time I'm with the public. We have a truly amazing opportunity to serve. Earlier this summer, I talked to a tearful couple whose, unfortunately, a garage fire extended into their house. And they were tearful about the event. They were more tearful about how caring our crews were to take all their things that they cherished the most, their pictures and the legacy items that are irreplaceable, and moving them to another room where they didn't get wet and they didn't get smoke damage. And it's things like this, the training that these individuals have, that just make the community feel so good about the service that we provide. Up in our office, we have like this conflagration fan mail list that is in the hundreds. We send crews all across the West, including from the Columbia Gorge down to Ventura, California, and literally hundreds of thank you cards and artwork from school kids come in thanking us for saving their home and their community. And it's the individuals that you see out in the street that are doing that work every single day that, again, give me, I think, the best job in the world. In contrast, on October 17th, in the early morning hours, an event that kind of changed our perception of first responders in this community existed, which was an ambush over in the Springfield area. This is a situation that, if you look at the professionalism of the people that were doing their duty and how they conducted themselves during that ambush, it is the definition of courage of what they did in the face of true hazard like that. I also want to have a shout out for Springfield Police and Eugene Police that arrived at the scene to stabilize it and then allowed us to go back in and fight that fire. Just a side note on that. While the crews were unable to fight fire for 20 minutes, that fire continued to extend and grow and build and burn down 4 homes and damaging another. About every 5 minutes, another home caught on fire when the crews weren't there able to do their work. So it just shows you in this business, minutes count, and the work that they do, and they get out of the station quick and they take care of business. When nobody comes, that fire was not done extending, and if the crews were not able to come back and take care of that, it would have taken out more of that block and maybe even extended further. This is on a flat part with no extra wildland effects or anything. That fire was just continued to move without their help. We send a minimum of 19 firefighters to every residential fire. We do a really great job, and over 1/3 of the fires that we attack, we control them in the room of involvement, the original room of involvement. That's not easy. Fire doubles in size every 30 seconds, and every 2 minutes there can be a flashover in the next room. When you think about how fast these men and women work and the amazing work that they do, I'm so impressed by just how well 99% of the time these calls end, which is with a very positive outcome. Our city is poised for growth. I don't know if you've seen all the cranes up and down Franklin and the U of O. We are investing over $1 billion into the construction in this community. This community, and as we point towards 2021 and the World Track and Field Games, is really not going to be the same. You know, we're going to move into a mid-size community, and to think about that, a lot of our apartments are building are 10, 11, 12-story apartments. The challenges that these individuals face at this time in their career is going to be much different by the time they retire in 30 or so years. Portland State University estimates that by the time these individuals retire, the population in the metro area that we now serve will be a little over 300,000 people. It's about 239,000 now. So I want you to think about how these challenges are going to expand and how we're going to position this department to grow with the community so we can take care of these risks. One of the second favorite days of my work life every year is coming next month. And right around Valentine's Day, we do a survivors dinner. A survivors dinner are for survivors of cardiac cerebral resuscitation, or CPR. And the difference between just 5 years ago and today is the industry standard for survival is about 10 or 12%. Our standard for our percentage of survival, walk out of the hospital for a witness arrest, is about 50%. All right, the only department we know of that has a better percentage is Seattle, and they're at 51%, and they taught us how to do this business. It's individuals in training that actually train the entire department, and we're not satisfied that 50% is good enough. We're going to be working, and see in the next few years, by working with schools, getting more CPR, we're going to try to get this percentage of survival going closer to 60%. But you can be very proud of the work these individuals do when it comes to cardiac arrest survival. Another shout out to the Eugene Police 911 Center. There's a chain of survival that goes along with this that includes, as soon as the call goes to 911, and as soon as somebody touches an individual to start compressions, their chance of surviving improves. And so I want to encourage everybody in this room, if you haven't had a CPR class, it's much more strenuous now because we go faster, but you don't have to do mouth to mouth, so it's a lot less gross. So if you see somebody that needs help, it's really easy to get down there and start doing the compressions till the crews get there, and that really does help survival. And one day, in the next few years, we're going to have all the 8th graders through 12th graders trained, and almost everybody that has a witness arrest is going to have a chance to survive, and we're very proud of that. We're going to go now to professional values. If I could get the recruits to look under their chairs, you're going to see a laminated card that looks something like this. And it's a professional values that we've been kicking around this department for a little over 15 years, the best I can tell. And it's just some basic overall good things to do to be a good firefighter and to take care of our community. And the first one is exceptional emergency response. And the first thing it says is to compel safety for crews and the community. This isn't a passive experience. We compel these individuals to do their job as safely as they can possibly do it. We're not expecting anybody to get injured, knowing that as hard as they work, there are going to be some injuries, but that's not what we accept as a normal day at the office. And so that is very important to us. Safety is a culture and a mindset, and you need to own that. And I know that culture has been instilled in you through this academy, and I'm very proud of the job that the training division has done to make sure you understand how important safety is. We talk about turnout time in less than a minute. Minutes matter in this business. Extraordinary hose and nozzle management. That hose and nozzle management is something that if you have one skill that you do execute flawlessly, it should be managing a hose and nozzle to stop the destruction and stop the potential for life loss. Perform critical tasks flawlessly. And this goes back to the Vince Lombardi, who says, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. This is not just for your fire skills, it's also for all your emergency medical service skills, how we wind up saving and improving people's well-being every day. This is probably the biggest one for me on here. No rekindles, never, ever. When we go home and the fire's out, it's out. Next one is train every shift. And you're going to think, you might think I'm kidding, maybe not. You have over 100 hours of training that has to be condensed in just about 100 shifts. So training every shift is a part of the culture around here. And first you're going to learn your job, then you're going to master your craft, then you're going to mentor your successor, and we're all going to be lifelong learners. That's how you promote through the ranks and add value to this community. Number 3 is leave it better than you found it. Like being a good roommate type of thing. We live in a community living environment, and leaving it better than you found it is important, not just for the next shift coming on. It's important for your apparatus, the equipment, your station, your relationships, and our department, now your department. Leave it better than you found it. And number 4 is make someone's day. Make someone's day is like doing the right thing and trying to do something that improves the outcomes for the people that you're coming in contact with. I can tell you that you're going to have a lot of opportunities as you continue in your career that you're not sure exactly what to do, and I wouldn't recommend doing this until like you're off probation. But one of the things that makes my city manager laugh is when I tell him, sometimes when I wake up I think, what's the most I can do good around here without getting fired, right? Good, I said good in there, and I said wait till after probation. But you need to lean forward if you can do something to help people, and this happens all the time. There are no 100% answers in some of the work that we do, but if you're trying to help somebody and doing the right thing and make somebody's day, you're going to earn the public's trust. You're going to problem solve with compassion. You're going to respect customers and the team members, and we're always going to honor and document positive behaviors. We're going to have an award ceremony later this month, and you would not believe some of the amazing things that these crews do on a daily basis as a routine part of their work. It is just amazing the impact that these crews have on the community. I'm going to talk a little bit about personal and professional resiliency. Personal and professional resiliency is related to the witnessing of repeated trauma and stress in the work that you do every day. Okay? I like that. Second it. And I want you, it's not that it's more difficult now than it was 30 years ago, but the fact is, individuals in the volume of calls that you're running now, in the first 3 to 5 years of your career, you're going to run as many calls as about 30 years of a career just 20 years ago. I know this because I went to a celebration of life for a wonderful engineer gentleman that retired from here, and he documented all of the calls that he went on. And I checked how many calls our crews are running as individuals, and we're covering that amount of exposure to repeated trauma of a career's worth in about 3 to 4 years. So this is not about, it's that, we're like not able to process, what's coming our way. It's about the work is different, the repeated stress is more intense, and we're going to take care of the community, but it's not okay not to take care of ourselves, okay? We're part of the equation here. Our well-being and your family's well-being is an important part of this, and I want you to get through a 30-year career and retire with the same spark of life that you have now and able to enjoy your life. And some of the things that you see and do and experience, you can't unexperience. I'll leave it at that. But one way it was explained to me that helped me process, a lot of the issues that, I've seen in a career, it's called the backpack analogy. And the backpack analogy says you get a brand new backpack when you come online today, and every time you have a serious event, and you put a 10-pound rock in that backpack, but you're young and healthy, you can still run around with a 10-pound rock in there. Heck, you could probably run around with a 100-pound pack. But eventually, over the years, it can take some of the fun and excitement out of what you're doing, and taking steps now, we'll talk about just very briefly, can take that 10-pound rock during the time of the event and shrink it down to a pebble, or in a best case scenario, a little grain of sand. So it's still in the backpack. It's still part of your character. You helped a community member in their immediate time of need, but I want you to be able to process that with your crew in a way that is healthy and wholesome and allows you to have joy throughout your career. Very difficult business, and anybody in this room that's been doing this has calls that they remember, and not really for a good reason. We know that talking about traumatic events with your crew in a comfortable environment can reduce that cumulative stress by 96%. We also know that with a peer resiliency program that can evaluate when somebody's having a tough time, we can talk through with a professional and clean up the other 4%. It might. We know that those things can happen, and so we want to make sure we keep an eye on each other. We're trying to tell this to the families at the time of going in the field. So when you see something that doesn't look right, you say something so we can help these individuals maintain personal and professional resiliency for their entire career. Class 24, it's important to remember, your words are important. When you see somebody that is having maybe the worst day of their life, using that opportunity to comfort that individual is awkward, it's challenging, but it's also critical to your own humanity. It's how you connect and keep connected to this business, knowing that you did everything that you could to assist. As I sorted through some of the issues that I've had through my career, I've looked at a quote, and it's actually from 400 years ago. It's from Shakespeare. And I want to give it to you as a tool in your toolbox, because we don't always train our people going out in the field how to deal with somebody that cannot be resuscitated or is not viable as a patient. It's sad, but a reality that I want to talk to you about now, because I want you to have a strategy so that when you come across that event, you have something in your toolbox that you can start to deal with it. And for me, this is just a statement that I say to myself, I learned after 30 years on the job, that allows me now to drive by houses I didn't want to drive by before, go to street corners that I didn't want to go by because bad things had happened. And anytime I have that feeling, I can say this little note to myself, and it allows me to recenter and allows me to continue with joy, right? It's a line from Hamlet. And if you find yourself in a position where you're with somebody or in a group or somebody has passed, say something like this. And you can look on the back of your values there. Good night, sweet prince or princess, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. It's not really a poem. It's not really a prayer. It's something that's thoughtful, that if you can say it to yourself, it starts to help you close the loop. You can whisper it in the presence of the individual that you're trying to demonstrate dignity. It shows dignity to the individuals that you're trying to help. And if one day you're courageous enough to say it out loud, it might give the family and your crew some closure So when you get back to the station, you can start having these conversations about resiliency. I know it's heavy duty, but your well-being is very important to this organization. We need each and every one of you out there, and having a strategy to deal with repeated trauma is critical to a healthy career. Family members. Public safety is a family activity. You all are now members of this team, and we expect you to help these individuals process and help them talk through and just listen to some of the things that they see and experience, so that you can be, and you're actually going to add value to our department by being there for them when they need it. Class 24, great job in the community. Great job in the academy. We look forward to seeing you in the community in a manner that exemplifies our department motto of courage, honor, and service. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is going to be our training captain in charge of Class 24, Wayne Morris.
Thank you. In preparation for the ceremony today, I had written down some notes, and just prior to the bagpiper playing, I think I lost those notes about 4 times. But I found them. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to Class 24 and how very proud I am of you. 15 grueling weeks. You will never forget things like the caterpillar or the inchworm or plank time or the Conley drill. I would like to especially thank Ernie Conley, retired captain, for coming out and providing the Conley drill on the last day. He is not on the program, but it was something to remember, and family members, you can ask the recruits about that. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming today. I wanted to speak to you and give you a brief overview of what the recruits have been through in the past 15 weeks. My job as training captain is it's really like 50% drill instructor and 50% life coach. And though I tested the recruits weekly, I can promise you that they tested me as well. I know that this has been a challenging task for you recruits. You have been scrutinized and evaluated every day over the past 15 weeks. We watched everything. We watched the way they look, the way they walk, the way they talk, how they hold the hose, where they place their hands, how they throw a ladder, everything. They were under extreme control, and we expected excellence. The fact that they are sitting here today is a testament to their hard work they have shown through the academy. To give you an idea of the repetition and training they endured as a class, they threw their air packs 1,910 times. They took 750 hydrants. They threw 1,184 ladders. They forced 360 doors. And they deployed over 3,600 feet. 193,600 feet of hose. That's equal to 36 miles. Guys, congratulations. For all the hose that they pulled off, they had to load it back on. I also want to mention that this class did something outstanding in that in the midst of all the work and all the studying and all the physical testing that we put them through, they took time of their own to raise over $12,000 for local nonprofit agencies in our community. I'd like to give them a round of a hand. I'll make this short because if you are as warm as I am, we're going to want to get going. Class 24, please remember that there's no 1011. There's only 911. That means that you are it. The cavalry is not going to come. You are the cavalry. When the going gets bad, it is up to you and the people beside you. So when the call comes, let it be what it may be. You are going to show up, and you're going to do your job, and you're going to figure it out. And time is not going to be on your side. And when all else fails, remember General Order Number 4. Shut up and get to work. Chief Zaludik, the recruits are ready for their assignment. Thank you.
Rachel, can you come help? We have a little bit of a treat here for you. You're going to watch a video of what they've done basically over the last 15 weeks. And Manny, our video tech, put it together, and nobody's seen it except for him, so we shall see what it looks like. Thank you, Manny. That was very nice. Little snippets of what they've done. Believe me, there was a lot more in that burned building that we could not capture. The camera would have melted. They've been very, very hot. They've got a lot of fire. They are ready. Next, we would like to have Nurse Anderson come up. Her voice, unfortunately, is, or fortunately, she said, is not where it needs to be. And so what she does every class is she gives an award out called the Golden Pen Award, and it's to the person who consistently does the best report writing on the EMS side. What we do when we have a patient in the back of an ambulance, we have to document everything. And that documentation is key to the chain of information that goes through with that person as they move through the medical system. And so having a standard of excellence of being able to accurately and wholly document what has gone on and what the condition of the patient is one of the levels of excellence to which we strive. And to that end, Karen gives out a Golden Pen Award, and this year's award goes to, I forget, she's going to go there, and then I will tell you who that person is. Zach Bernardo. Okay, now we're going to get into the meat of the real stuff. We're going to do our oath of office. So, first off, recruits, please stand. Recruits, please take your positions. Okay, Chief Zaludik's going to come up and administer the oath of office.
Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Todd Miller,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter,
that I will strive for the preservation
that I will strive for the preservation
of life, property, and the environment,
of life, property, and the environment,
and act for the good of the community,
and act for the good of the community,
that I will uphold the rules and regulations
that I will uphold the rules and regulations
of this department,
of this department,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of my position.
discharge the duties of my position.
Put your hands down, please.
Thank you, Chief. Firefighters, please take your seats. Firefighters, take a seat. Training staff, would you please come on? So I assume it in the, well, you may not have seen that, but in the video you saw they were wearing black helmets throughout the recruit academy, 15 weeks. This is the first academy we've had that had to go 15 weeks because it spanned the holiday season. So they got an extra week of us all, which is good. But they've been striving to get to that point where they can turn those black helmets in for the yellow helmets of a firefighter, at the firefighter rank. To that end, we'd like to first give them their badges. The badges is also something that you'll notice they don't have on their shirts yet, and we're going to work through each of them, and we would like a significant other, if they are here, to come up and pin the badge on the individual. The first up is firefighter Zach Bernardo. Next up, Brett Deeden. Brett's dad, Greg, is a captain here. Next up, Diego Vaca Navarro. Next up, Jeremy Brown. Mr. Brent Lounsbury. Zach Harney, front and center. Alexander Gillette. He's got tough skin. Alexis Keller. Brad Kinch. Mr. Tim O'Neill, front center. Austin Lewis. Sebastian Ely. Kyle Higley. There's 42 people coming forward. Last recruit, Jeremiah Kutchell. Now to all the firefighters of recruit class 24, welcome to the Eugene Springfield Fire Department.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to have cake and ice cream. And on that note, it is Chief Ennis's birthday today. So at the count of 3, we're going to sing him a rousing chorus of happy birthday. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Chief Ennis. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Matt.